3 and 4. And we're going to start with lesson 3. This is page 7 in your binder. And we're going to look at exercise 1 to start with. Now, what Ms. James and I would like for you to understand by the end of these two lessons, first of all, for lesson 3, is that a linear equation is just a statement of equality between two expressions. So one side of the equation is equal to the exact same number on the other side of the equation. The left equals the right, the exact same thing. So what we're going to take a look at is number 1. And in number 1 it says, is the equation a true statement when x is equal to -3? So in other words, is -3 a solution to the equation? And it gives us the equation here. So if I substitute a -3 everywhere that I see an x, I'm going to see whether or not the left side equals the right side. So I'm just going to rewrite it a little bit bigger. I have 6x plus 5 equals 5x plus 8 plus 2x. Now, everywhere that I see an x, I'm going to substitute a -3. So I have 6 times -3 plus 5 equals 5 times -3 plus 8 plus 2 times -3. Now, based off of the order of operations, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, and then addition and subtraction. What I have to solve for first is what is shown here, the multiplication. So I have 6 times a -3. That would be a -18 plus 5 equals 5 times -3, which is -15 plus 8 plus 2 times -3 is -6. So I'm not really quite sure yet if the left side is going to equal the right side, if they're going to be the same number, but we still got some more steps to go. So if I have a -18 and I'm adding 5 back to it, that means that I'm getting closer to 0. Therefore, my negative actually gets closer to 0. So that would be -13 equals, and now I have -15 plus 8. So whenever I add these two together, I get -15 plus 8. So again, I'm getting back closer to 0. So what I would end up with is a -7. And then I have to add my -6 back to it because I didn't deal with that yet. One step at a time. Now I got to keep this -13 on the left side. -13 equals, now if I have -7 plus a -6, that means I'm going farther negative, which means I'm going farther away from 0. So -7 plus -6 is also -13. So once you get to this point, -13 equals -13. Is that a true statement? And so yes, that is the solution. X should equal -3, like what it says right here. Is it a true statement? Yes, it is a true statement because -13 equals -13. Okay, so for right now we're going to skip example 2 and we're going to move down to example 3. Example 3 says Chad solved the equation 24x plus 4 plus 2x equals 3 times the quantity of 10x minus 1, and is claiming that x is equal to 2, and that makes the equation true. And so we have to figure out whether or not Chad is correct and explain. So the first thing that we need to do is take a look at x equals 2. So everywhere that we see an x in this equation here, we need to substitute a 2 in for it. So again, I'm just going to write it just a little bit bigger so we can see it better. 24x plus 4 plus 2x equals the quantity, 3 times the quantity, 10x minus 1. Okay. So again, everywhere that we see an x, we are going to substitute in a 2. So there's an x here, there's an x here, and there's an x here. So everywhere we see that x, we're going to put in a 2. So I have 24 times 2 plus 4 plus 2 times 2 equals 3 times the quantity of 10 times 2 minus 1. Okay? Now again, we have to use the order of operations from left to right, whatever comes first. So I'm solving for my parentheses first. Okay, and if I do that, I actually don't touch this left side if I'm being true to the order of operations. So I'm just going to simply rewrite this. Times the quantity. So here's my multiplication, my parentheses. So I'm solving inside the parentheses. So I have 10 times 2, which is 20, and then I bring down my minus 1. Now again, I solve inside the parentheses first. I have to solve this first. So 24, again, I just rewrite this, times 2 plus 4 plus 2 times 2 equals 3 times 20 minus 1 is 19. So now, I can worry about my multiplication from left to right, okay? I don't have to worry about just dealing with this parentheses anymore. All I have left is multiplication and addition. So 24 times 2 is 48, plus 4 equals 3 times 19. 3 times 19 is equal to 57. So I keep everything on the right side the same because all I have left is this 57, but now all I have to do is add my left side. So 48 plus 4 is 52 plus 4. All I did was add these together and I brought the rest down. And now what I have is 56 equals 57. So is 56 equal to 57? No, that is not equal. This is not equal. So it is not a solution. So x is not equal to 2. So Chad is not correct. So hopefully you remember to bring your binders home with you so you could work some of this out. We would like for you to work out examples 4 and 5 on your own. We're going to check those tomorrow in class. So examples 4 and 5 on your own. Now jumping ahead to lesson 4, this is on page 10 in your binders. Hopefully those exercises 4 and 5 in lesson 3 weren't too bad for you. Like I said, we're going to check those in class tomorrow. But jumping ahead to page 10, this is lesson 4, solving a linear equation. And in this lesson, what we would like for you to understand is that all we're doing in this is extending the use of the properties of equality. So we're going to be solving linear equations and having rational coefficients. So there's some of that terminology that we'll need to take a look at in class as well. Hopefully you remember some of those terms from